Hello, everyone. You are about to watch the raw and uncut version of one of the best interviews we've had with one of the SDRs out there. He's with Discover.org, who's just absolutely killing it.
Yeah, we are interviewing Josh Sutton today, he's bless his heart. Thank you, Josh, for getting up so early to talk to us. Super passionate about connecting with people. Dianna, you found him when you read a LinkedIn article about cold email. So he dropped a lot of gems in this about cold email, but how to really connect with people, what to say when you're looking to make those connections, and how to let people know that you care so that they care. So watch the raw and uncut version with Josh Sutton from Discover.org. And here we go.
Here we go. Okay.
We're recording now. No, please tell me what those glasses are.
Well, do you know what's happening on August 21st?
Oh, those are eclipse glasses.
These are eclipse glasses, and I thought, these are kind of like those 1950s where you have these like crazy things that have to do with space. So Tom, my adorable husband, bought us eclipse glasses, and so I can't see a thing because the only thing that you can see is the sun through them.
Wow. So you got me, because you had talked about doing setting up for our summer sales session. I thought, please, dear God, let those not be her sunglasses.
No, those aren't the ones that I'm going to wear for our summer sales. Oh my God, that is the coolest episode. I can't wait. We're going to release that next week.
Okay, good. All right. So I've got an email all queued up with a link for our special guest today, Josh Sutton.
He's ready. He's on LinkedIn saying, I'm here. I'm ready.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'll send that.
Coming now. Okay. And then we'll do the welcome. And maybe it'll all like just time out perfectly, right?
Okay.
Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome everyone to the SellOut Show, where we are always sold out. I am Dianna Guerin, and I am the irreverent sales girl, where my mission is to bring a dash of dignity to the art of selling.
Hi, Dianna. Hi, everyone. I'm Shawn Sandy, Chief Revenue Officer of the Selling Agency, where we coach humans how to sell to other humans. Because if you sell like a hot mess, you're going to be in hot water.
That's right. That's right. So we've got a really cool thing happening today. As we all know, it's really important for us to get real, actionable, tangible advice in front of people who are looking to get from the 5 figures to the solid 6. So I discovered this guy. Did you read his article?
I did not.
Oh my God, you're going to love it. Well, he's going to go through it anyway. But so I discovered this guy because he wrote this whole article about how to write really compelling, interesting, cold emails that capture people's attention. So I'm really excited to have him here. He was an Oregon Duck. I don't know how much you were in the college, but I went to see you, and every now and then we would play the Oregon Ducks. So and we would almost always prevail. So anyway, that's his story today.
Be sure to push that button today.
I might not. Actually, it's so far before his time that I probably wouldn't embarrass myself. That was a long, long time ago, and it wasn't that long ago for him. So anyway, so what are you up to these days? What are you up to this week?
Oh gosh, this is school starting, getting ready for school starting week. School starts Monday for my kids, so it was it's despite all the technology, and I think that schools have come a long way. You still have to physically show up and stand in line and show that you're a resident and all that kind of stuff. My kids go to public school, so that was interesting. And then something interesting happened. So you remember buying school supplies?
Yes. Oh my God, the pencil boxes. And yes, I do.
Yeah. While it was fun for us, as a parent, it sucks.
Why is that?
Because it's like, buy the Crayola washable markers in the 10-pack and make them bold. I mean, it's so specific. They want really, really specific things. And you're like, I can't buy the generic. So anyway, you can just run around all over the place. And by the time they put the school stuff out, they're out of some things. So what they've done is, as a fundraiser, part of the proceeds from this juncture go to the schools. You can buy them online. They come in a little box, and they're delivered to your kids' classroom the morning of.
By drone.
Yeah. Well, so we do this. So Mike does this like back in May. Mike does this as soon as we get the card, we buy the supplies. And so in middle school, you have to pick them up and take them with you. So I went to go pick them up, and they showed here. This is my point. Everyone is in customer service. Whether you think it or not, everyone is in customer service.
Yeah.
So I go to the pre-ordered school supply station, and here's my receipt. They show that I've paid for them, but they have not printed out a little sticker to go on the box. So they're like, well, sorry, we can't give them to you. Like, well, you show that I paid for them. I show that I paid for them. So
and they're sitting right there. Give them to me.
Well, and then there's a whole pile of unpurchased boxes, like for people just to walk up and purchase. And so I said, well, why can't I just take one of those? It's like, well, I don't know. So he said,
because you pre-purchased one.
These are teachers manning these stations.
Oh my
God.
God.
You have to go to the office and see the financial secretary. So I waited another 5 minutes to see her, and she goes, well, let's go. And so she goes, and what she do? She checks the papers. And then she says, well, let's count the boxes and do an inventory. Are you freaking serious?
Right there?
Right there. And I said, can I not just take one of them that someone else hasn't purchased yet? Well, no, that would throw up our inventory. Your inventory's already mucked up.
Yeah.
So it was just like, be a problem solver, people. So she said, well, we'll have to see what's going on. I'll have to give you a call back. And I said, can I pick them up Friday when we go to the mock 6th grade day? She goes, we probably won't have your order by then. And I'm looking at this big pile of unpurchased ones. So my husband and I were talking about this. It's just crazy. Everyone, I don't care what your job is. You are in customer service. Be a problem solver. It would have been so much easier to solve that problem then and there and make my life easier. She actually created another problem for me because then I didn't get to my son's school on time. I couldn't go to the afternoon. It was just a mess. So,
as long as she didn't create a problem for herself.
Exactly.
Thank goodness for that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then I saw the disaster meltdown that you had about the what you thought was going to be the dress code for Sophie. Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's a lot of lessons learned here. One, don't wait till the last minute to look at what the dress code for the school is going to be. And
what was it, like the 1950s dress code you were looking at?
Well, it was from 3 years prior to when they were county schools instead of its own municipality schools. She had searched school dress code for her school, and what she did was she pulled up an old PDF, and it was like khaki pants, a collared shirt, must be tucked in, have to wear a belt, no graphics, images. It essentially eliminated 100% of her wardrobe, and she was just devastated. And I was devastated for her. But then social media saved the day because I posted on social media, hey, is the dress code for this school really this strict? And someone came back and said, it sounds like she may have pulled an old dress code because it's not that way. So here's our guest.
Welcome. Josh.
How's it going?
Good.
Really great. How are you today?
I am doing well here. Is everything working out on your guys' end?
Oh. Yeah, the camera is cutting off your forehead.
How's that?
Oh, wow. You've got a cool do, my friend. That's awesome. I see the whole thing. Yeah, a couple little technical difficulties this morning, but we're all good. How are you this morning?
That's good. Good to hear. Yeah, it's a little early on this side, but I'm actually used to it. So I can't say the rest of the people on my team would enjoy the early morning, but I love it.
Well, we only have the go-getters on our show.
Absolutely. You got to get to them early.
Well, Josh, I wanted to welcome you. Let's do a couple introductions. I'd like to introduce you to Shawn Sandy, who is the Chief Revenue Officer of the Selling Agency, where they coach humans how to sell to other humans, because selling like robots is so last year.
Totally. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you. Glad you're here.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, I'm excited. I've been a little nervous, being on a first kind of like YouTube or live video. YouTube video is a little different, but I feel like Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands, but.
Perfect. Well, so I'm gonna give you in just a second to introduce yourself, but I want to share with people how I found you. So one of the things about the SellOut Show is, there are a lot of, and we're doing sales experts in air quotes, there are a lot of sales experts out there that have blogs or, who talk about sales, but mostly they haven't done it in a really long time. And our show is really for people who are boots on the ground, phone in the hand, salespeople who are really looking to move their career from 5 figures to a solid 6. And one of the best places to start is how to open conversations with people. You know, you can't close a deal until you know how to get somebody on the phone. And I was hearing Trish Bertuzzi say the other day that the hardest thing these days is initial engagement. So I was really thrilled when I came across your article. I'm not going to give away all the goodies because we're going to, you know, kind of talk about that. And I'm madly in love with Discover Org, so we'll get to do a plug for that. But why don't you take a second and, you know, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what I know you were an Oregon Duck. So I was a Colorado Buffalo.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Well, yeah, my name's Josh Sutton. I am the senior SDR here at Discover Org. I came on board with Discover Org last July, so I just passed my 1-year anniversary. Graduated from U of O, started here right out of college. Started as an inbound SDR, slowly worked my way to an outbound SDR, paired with one of our directors of sales based over on the East Coast, Josh Shaw. We've been killing it since beginning of the year. And yeah, I've kind of transitioned more into a sales enablement type role. We're doing a lot of revamping how we go to market and how we speak to our market. And so, yeah, I play a role in that, as well as some strategic outreach as well. And yeah, so it's really fun, fast growing company. And yeah, it's going great. We're crushing 2017.
That's so good. Shawn, you know about Discover Org, don't you?
Yeah.
Have you used it?
I haven't, but several of my clients use it.
Oh, it's good. I mean,
they don't use it really well, but I think that's something we can talk about later about technology and how people buy it and then it's failed to adopt and be used. But that's par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was really fascinated, Josh, by, is yours the 5, 5, and 5 and somebody else has got a modified 3, 3, and 3, or are you the 3, 3, 3 guy and somebody else does the 5, 5, 5?
Well, yeah, I kind of modified the 3x3, Vorside's 3x3. I think it was Steve Richardson, I think is his name. He's a CEO there. He came up with it where it's 3 bullet points. You spend 3 minutes researching a prospect, 3 minutes, and then find 3 things about them, and then spend 3 minutes writing the email. I kind of changed that up to where it's just the 5x5. And that's really just my way of keeping me honest on, not wasting a ton of time researching someone before reaching out to them. But, 5 minutes kind of learning more about someone, whether it be their social media, LinkedIn, any articles that they've written that are relevant to their business objectives. As well as just anything that they might be commenting on. I mean, I kind of see the internet and a certain person's profiles, kind of like a billboard of what they care about. It's like if you're, if you think about LinkedIn, like if somebody's commenting on an article, it's like you're putting that comment out there for everyone to see. It's like you have to kind of feel a certain way about something, and yeah. So I spend I say 5 minutes, but I usually find something about someone that I can kind of relate to within the first, minute and a half. And then, writing a cold email outreach. So I'll begin first with a call, have that kind of, I'll have the email or the information there, what I want to talk about. And then, if I don't get them on the phone, send them an email and it's personalized. It kind of sticks out, and not only will it, get their attention, but also they're obviously more open to responding and engaging in conversation. So yeah, that was my 5x5. If I spent more than 5 minutes researching, I realized, okay, maybe this person isn't going to respond well to this, and find a different way.
Maybe you don't have a reason to be calling them.
Yeah.
Oh my
maybe
God.
There's not something there. That's the thing. It's like, you can dig and dig and dig, but if you can't find something right away, I feel like there's really, it's going to be hard to do it.
Yeah, move on, right?
It's okay. It's okay. Not everybody's going to be a winner. So, Josh, let me ask you a question. So, how much of the, is every SDR in your organization required? Do you guys just you're responsible for your own emails, or is there templates, or do you have, more marketing, sales enablement help you with that, or is it all just on you?
Well, actually, so backtrack here. When we first started, so we use outreach, and we have cadences and emails that go out, kind of our SDR tool, marketing automation tool for the SDR team. Those are pre-written. We kind of use it. It's about I'd say 20% one-off emails, and about 80% of it's going to be those not necessarily generic, but more automated emails. And that's part of our cadence. We're a call-heavy organization. I mean, if it's if there's the email or the phone spectrum, cold calling's dead, emailing's dead, whatever. We're more towards the calling. We just feel that if the best way to get a hold of somebody is to call them on their cell phone or their desk phone.
Right. Newsflash, it's all alive. Newsflash.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever works to get your customer, it's living and breathing, and get over it and do it.
Yeah. As soon as you start focusing too much on one thing, is when the competition starts beating you. So, we also mix in social touches, but for the most part, to answer your question, the emails that go out are or traditionally have been templated or not necessarily templated, more automated, and as a part of our cadence. But we are working now to personalize them based on persona and also business objectives, things like that. So we do have some chances where we do shy away. And I think that I played a big part in that with the success that I've seen with taking the extra time to reach out to somebody and personalize a little bit. But yeah, for the most part, it's been automated, and that's written by our director of sales development, Jake Shaffron. He's a genius. He's a genius behind that. So
cool.
Well, you just threw that down. We're going to have to investigate.
Well, also, every man who works at DiscoverOrg, I'm sorry, this is sexist, but I don't know, they hire all these really attractive guys. Henry Schuck is really attractive, and he's,
we're working on that.
Yeah, I know, right? He's Jake or whatever. Yeah, it's all, the girls are no slouches either, but I don't know. That's probably completely, totally inappropriate, but that's part of the show.
Hey, yeah. Whatever.
Well, I'm just fascinated with the automated versus what you create and what you craft yourself, because I look at a lot of different CRMs and some technology and stuff for my clients whenever we're looking at improving or building their sales program, and most of them are small businesses. But so that means download the content and opt into this and the phone calls and the emails, and I'm never moved by the automated stuff. It's just, and maybe that's because I know exactly what it is. I know the system behind it, but I'm never moved by that. So I'm just curious as to how your company feels about you creating this. And then, do they measure like the responses between the stuff that you personally created versus the stuff that's automated?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, it's I think that automation works well, and it's kind of wrong to say automation because there's such a negative connotation behind it. I think that if you're able to portray your value, if you can understand the value prop and have that portrayed in your messaging, I think that's where the real value is behind the automated emails. But with it also catches people at the right time. I think that if you're able to do that, uncover a need and develop a need throughout an automated outreach sequence, I think that's the best way to make that work. But like you said, you can tell when an email is automated. But if it portrays the value, and if you have a need and it develops that need and touches on that, obviously you're going to respond like, actually, yeah, this is something we do need. So let's take a look. But the different touches, we do compare it. The biggest thing for us is we have such a huge total addressable market that, we want to feel like we're touching everybody and getting our name and our brand out there. And the hardest thing about the whole personalized emails is that it's very hard to do at scale. And that's kind of one thing that, if you talk to any sales marketer today, they say, oh yeah, automated emails work great, but you can't do it at scale. And that's what really drives faster growth. And so that's why I focus mainly on if I know who my decision maker or buyer is, I want to spend a little extra time kind of standing out in the crowd. If I fail at bringing DiscoverOrg through the ranks, some people might be reluctant to bring it up. Then I go up a little bit higher, but I spend a little extra time getting to know this person and being able to kind of connect on that personal level. So I think that everybody, it's obvious that it works, but some people can spend hours and hours researching and then writing and but you have to be able to do it at scale. And that's kind of what my model and the whole point of that blog post was, is to kind of outline how I've been able to do it and my success and a couple of examples. And it's kind of funny. I feel like when that posted, it was like the templated email flavor of the month, or whichever one, they were just regurgitating it all. It's just funny how you put something out there and people are just so quick to copy and paste it, and next one. It's like,
so now that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. It's like, somebody opens, it's like, hey, I read Josh's blog post too. It's a terrible email, but yeah, I mean the results, you can't deny the results, but then again, it's like, is it repeatable? And I think that there's a lot of technologies out there that repeat it, but they don't really get as close to the personal. A lot of AI stuff out there. I know that Outreach and Nova and things like that, they have that whole, it's like using AI to write personal emails. But at the end of the day, it's like, you want to be creative, and people really like to be able to, connect with them on a human level. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, so Shawn's favorite thing, I'm going to let her talk about it, but Shawn's even writing a book about it. It's called Customer Currency, like know your customer's currency.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so, I mean, Shawn, isn't this exactly what you're talking about, is do a little research to learn what is important to them and then talk that language?
Yeah, well, it is. And it's a balance of assumptions and then that due diligence, right? It's a balance of, okay, we talk about the different personas, and, my favorite, Tina from accounting, or, Susan, the CEO or whatever, and knowing what their life is like, what their day is like, and then doing the research about what's personal with them, so you can make a personal emotional connection. And that's the question for you, is what kinds of things do you look for when you're doing your research to quickly make those personal emotional connections?
Well, this is going to sound really cliche, but as a 24-year-old guy, it's sports. That's like my biggest thing. It's like, what is something that somebody's passionate about? It's typically their sports. And a lot of the companies that I reach out to just happen to be in the Bay Area, and they love their Golden State Warriors. So it's like, I try to touch on that. If they went to like a Pac-12 school, the rivalries in the Pac-12 for college football. So it usually has to do with sports, or, really just anything that I kind of relate to. Obviously I don't want it to seem forced, but, it's like you're reading a bio about somebody. It's like, oh, hey, they're a Portland Trailblazers fan. It's like, oh, me too. It's like, hey, you're a Trailblazers fan. So am I. Like, that's awesome. Did you see this? And also, like, if you can't really relate to them, at least, show that you took the time to dig in, or to like relate to something that they care about. One, I was going after a company based in South Carolina, and their decision maker, director of sales development, he on his LinkedIn, the background, his whatever background picture or cover photo was, University of South Carolina Gamecocks, and I just happened to search, South Carolina Gamecocks recent news, and sure enough, there was a coach that just got fired, and so I was like, hey, sucks that he left. Probably, what do you think about that? And then kind of just went into Discover.org, like, not sure if you're familiar with Discover.org, but here's what we can do. And then he responded, he's like, hey, I love the personal touch. Like, I wouldn't have replied to your email if you didn't include that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, really, it's just like, if they're willing to put it on, I kind of think of it as, like I said, anything that's on social media, LinkedIn, is kind of like their billboard. It's like, if you're at a bar and you see somebody, wearing like Nike shoes and a Colorado, Buffaloes t-shirt, you're not going to walk up and be like, hey, my name is, Josh, and I really want to talk to you. And it's like, no, you're like, hey, you went to Colorado? Like, cool, I went to Oregon. Like, it's pretty cool. Then you start talking to them that way. It's like, be more personal and not necessarily so self-centered or self, focused on. And I think that if you're able to relate to some of those things, they're putting it out there for you to relate to it. So, I actually watched your guys' interview with Jack Kosakowski. Did I pronounce that right?
Thank you.
And he was like, it was kind of funny because I'm like, wow, I'm like kind of getting ready for this interview, and I'm literally listening to the same, like everything that he's saying is something that I'm thinking. And so, yeah, if you're able to kind of show not only that you spent the extra time, but also that you're human, I think that goes a long way. So, just find those little tidbits online, and that's the easiest way.
They're like breadcrumbs. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. It's like breadcrumbs. Yeah, it's like breadcrumbs. Totally.
Yeah, but so here's the thing though that is brilliant about you that you may not know, but newsflash. So a lot of people use that stuff really badly. One of the things that was so compelling to me about your article, and you've, what's the name of the article? Ways to heat up, what's it called?
Yeah, how to heat up a cold email. Yeah.
You guys go read this article. If part of your day is cold emails or cold calls, go read this article, because it's not just about, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to connect, or whatever. You would think that somebody would connect because you went to University of Colorado, and they're like, they ignore you just as much as anything else. It's really, your article talks about this really very sophisticated, sort of nuanced way of bringing those kinds of connections up, because, a lot of executives don't really want somebody to be connecting with them over something that's not really connectable, or using it as a kitschy technique. I mean, there's almost something in that article that infuses that you're actually thinking about them and what their world looks like, and that's what comes through. So it's not a tip, it's not a technique, it's there's something else that you bring to it. Can you quantify at all what that is that you bring to it that's different from sort of that, like, it's still all about me, but I'm trying to, jam something down your throat? You know what
I mean, at the end of the day, like, our jobs, our careers are our livelihood. And so, it's like, I'm showing that I care enough about, myself, but to find something about you that stands out. And so it's kind of like, I'm doing some extra steps to show you that I can help you. And so it's kind of like, in a sense, saying, hey, maybe I'm going to spend more time, maybe replying to this email, or not just, hitting the delete button. And it's kind of funny, if you're able to catch their attention right away, and that's why I start with the personalization. If you're able to catch their attention, it's like, I've never had somebody reply and say, and I'm waiting for that day to come where they're like, why the hell did you look at my Facebook? Like, like, nobody will ever say that. It's like, wow, this guy actually took some extra time. But, as far as like quantifying it, it's just like, at the end of the day, everybody who, if you're looking to, move the needle, I think that it shows a lot of people can respect the fact that, you're taking the extra steps to stick out and stand out amongst the crowd. I think that nowadays with the whole robotic sales and marketing that we have, it's almost like, it's almost like innovating. And so that's innovation by disinnovation is kind of the phrase. I feel like it works well. But it's like, if you're kind of going against the grain, like, so many people rely on automation and just kind of being that robot outside of the phone, and just to kind of stick out. I think that's great if you're kind of going against the grain, so to speak.
I think what, I think what's really important in this conversation, what you're saying too, with the stuff that's automated, the sequences, those are really helpful. I use those too, but then you have to know when the customized approach is, where you pick up the phone. It's all part of the selling mix. And the minute you stop participating in being present in the selling mix, and knowing that if this doesn't work, then you try this, versus, putting all your eggs in this one basket, or looking for a silver bullet, social media is the silver bullet. The minute you start looking at these things as the only way to do something, or this is all, like I said, putting all the eggs in one basket, I think you're losing. Whereas, because, there are, just as there are 3,492 ways to connect with people now, there are 3,495 ways to ignore people. So
exactly. That's true.
So, your customers are evolving in their ways of saying, oh, shut it down. Here's a new call block tool, or, I'm going to screen my emails. I have a new program to do that. Your customers are evolving and growing in their technologies and how they buy. So you got to, pull your head out of your butt and be evolving along with them, right? I mean,
yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
I'm really curious, Josh. Are you all using any video at all for any of your outbound?
Oh, that has been, anybody watch this show, if you own or if you have a video technology and you integrate it with outreach, you're going to have the next $100 million idea. Because,
you heard it here.
yeah. And because that's one of our biggest things right now is we want to find, we've tested several of them. And the hardest thing is that they don't integrate well with the tools that we have. And so, and I mean, it worked. I mean, it has worked. We use video for a lot of, we've tried to use video. We've used several different platforms. We're testing one out right now as well as a part of the 3 or 4. But at the end of the day, it's like, can we operationalize it?
But let's skip integration for a second, because that's important. But what's important to my guys, or our guys, are, if you're using video, what are some things that do work? I mean, I'm kind of testing it right now, and one thing I've found is video is really awesome for sending a thank you to a meeting that you've had, and keeping and getting the next thing moving faster. But I haven't been really, and I've only tried 2 or 3 of them, so I guess I'm being too, the data set is very small. But I'm curious, how do you make video something that's compelling for cold outreach and not like a kitschy thing, or what is compelling about video that you think work?
I think the short answer is the fact that you took the time to like put yourself on camera and record. Like, you could start with I know like Vidyard, they have the little whiteboards that say, hey, first name. It's like, oh wow, this is obviously not automated. There's no real way to automate a whiteboard, with dry erase marker. And so I think just, right off the bat, it's like, okay, this person took the time to actually record the video. And then, so it's good for that initial outreach, the initial cold outreach. And then also like following up, like you said, you can do thank yous. You can do, even if it's just like an introduction, like, hey, before I give you a call, wanted to put a face to the voice, or, just putting a face to the email. Or it's like, hey, I remember when I first started on Outbound, I would just take a picture of myself and I never even thought of video. It was just like a picture of myself, like, hey, John, I'm a real person here. And so, if you just show that human element of it, and that's what goes a long way. So any step in the cadence, I think, is a video is valuable. But then again, you don't want to do the same thing over again. It's like, well, how many other people did you do this for? And so I think once it starts getting canned and once it starts getting scripted is when it starts to fall off. But I think it's best for the initial the very first touch.
I think it matters what level you're reaching out to, too. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm wondering if I would even send a video like with a white to a CEO that I'd never met. Do you know what I mean? There's just so many different. Is he really going to want to click on a 30-second video? Do you know? Probably not. So no, it's really good. So it's just something I'm super curious about, because I wrote an article recently called The Visual Economy of Sales, and I believe that the faster that salespeople get to become, actually, frankly, marketers. I mean, we've known that TV and billboards have worked for a long time, but, can you throw an infographic into your email instead of a long email? Can you, send a picture? Can you send a video? I think there's a lot for salespeople to learn about being visual. So anyway, Shawn, I've sort of, what's going on over there in your head?
No. Well, we process visuals like something like crazy, like 60,000 times faster than we process text. So being visual, putting your photo in the email, whatever you can do to, let people look into your eyes, the window of your soul. It's just like, you're looking at someone's LinkedIn profile and have their crappy picture, or they have no picture. Like there's no soul there. You can't connect. They're a soulless human.
Totally. Yeah. I mean,
so give us a big old face to palm moment of some kind of personalized outreach that you did that you're like, oh my God, did I actually just hit send?
Oh, that's a good one.
Good, juicy.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I've had some where I've sent. It's been like a cold email, kind of personalized email to someone's LinkedIn. I don't think. Oh, let me think.
Well, I'll tell you one so while you think about this, and this is one of my favorite stories. I was training one of my sellers. People outsource their sales to me, which is why I love Discover.org, by the way, because one thing, if you're listening and you're a sales leader, the one way to absolutely destroy your sales development reps is to not give them all the tools that they need to get good contact information for the people they're trying to reach. They are too awesome and too smart for you to make them scrape the web to find contact information. So there's my little plug for Discover.org.
And then keep training them on how to use it. That's the problem I see out there, is keep reinforcing the training and how to use it. Yeah. All right. So tell us your flop, Dianna.
Yeah, so I'm training one of my sellers to do the calls, and I'm going to call on the CEO. I'm not going to say the name of the company because I'm still too embarrassed that I did this. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm good at it. I mean, I make my money cold calling, right? Anyway, So I've got somebody, I'm training on the line, and the CEO on the first call picks up the phone. And I was like, as if I'd never done it before, and I'm training somebody. So Shawn would have killed me. There was no real pre-call planning. It was like just stupid. But anyway, so, but I guess the point is that, you know, as when you're putting yourself out there, you're going to make these like stupid face to palm moments. And I promise you, he doesn't remember me at all. I mean, I remember this moment brilliantly, but he doesn't remember. So anyway, that's my little face to palm moment.
That reminds me. We actually have a poster on our in our bullpen, and it says, if you're not uncomfortable on every one of your calls, you're doing it wrong. And that's huge. So if you're scripted and comfortable with your script, people can hear that, they can tell, they can sense that, and it just makes you sound even more robotic. It's like, you know, you're not a Comcast customer service agent. You're trying to help somebody, and you have something that can help them. It's like, get passionate about it. You know, have some fun with it, and be uncomfortable, and that's when you really test yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny though.
So do you have a flop, or I have a next question if you don't?
You know, I actually had one. This is like kind of bad. I emailed the guy, and I was like, hey John, you know, as a VP of sales, and you're probably looking for ways to drive faster growth and speed up your sales cycle. And I put a plug into one of his articles, how he thought cold calling, or he thought that, or he said that if you're, you know, the death of the sales floor, you know, the silent sales floor. And I'm trying to like paint this picture of like, hey, let's get the loudest, you know, let's turn your sales floor into a pep rally, you know, loudest can be. And he's like, thanks, Josh, but I haven't been this VP of sales for a year, but I am on the board of directors. So, and I'm like, you're right. Yeah. If you look at LinkedIn, it says like, you know, he just didn't update his LinkedIn profile as VP of sales to now board of director. And it's like, okay, or yeah, he's a board member. And so I'm like, oh gosh, like maybe I should have spent the extra time. And it's crazy though, because, you know, most people don't actually update their LinkedIn all the time. And that's like, that's one of the craziest things is that, and you know, if you take that extra time to look at it, it's like, okay, maybe, you know, but it was funny though. It ended up, I was like really embarrassed, but you know, that it's like, well, I guess that's a lesson learned that maybe I should just double check. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, you keep putting yourself out there, and you keep putting yourself out there because you're going to have whiffs. You know, if you're batting what is it? We're going to do sports analogies. If you're batting 300 in baseball, you're like killing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, Aaron Judge is leading the MLB, and he's batting like 330. So.
Yeah. Well, to your point, yeah, keep putting yourself out there. And you're gonna, you know, I think that so many people are afraid of that falling down, but you just have to keep getting back up. You're gonna, you know, we celebrate the spectacular flops here. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen down and made a terrible call. And the thing is, most people don't remember your worst day. They don't remember your worst call.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the good stuff, the stuff that you really like to reflect on, you know, they might remember that, but do you ever have one of those moments, whether it was a call or, since we've been talking about email, maybe it's email, where you're like, I am king at this, where you did something like, you know, it's just so, or you took a chance, or, you know, you did something, you know, risky, or just sort of all sorts of boundaries. Tell me, do you have a moment like that?
Yeah. So actually, this is like my favorite story to tell.
Oh, goody.
Oh, yeah, it's great. So like there was somebody who's now the director of business development at a strategic account that we've been going after. I kind of take on the strategic accounts, kind of the ones where we think that would be great advocates for us and would also, you know, have great value in our service. And it happens to be one of the biggest marketing automation tools out there. So I actually reached out to him, and I was like, I mean, I'd been going after him for several weeks. And, you know, I could see that he's reading my LinkedIn comment or my LinkedIn messages. He's opening my emails. He's not answering my calls. I'm you know, tweeting him, everything. I did everything. And one day it was like, I went and talked to one of our leaders here, and I was like, how do I like get this guy to listen to me? You know, like I just want his attention. Like, you know, he's used us before. Like I just want his attention. They're a great fit. And he's like, don't be afraid to be bold. And so I actually, he's in the Bay Area. I looked at his Twitter. He's a big Steph Curry fan for the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors. So I sent an email, and I was like so mad. I was just like kind of like bummed out that he wasn't responding. I'm like, shit, okay, whatever. Oh, by the way, can we cuss? I sorry for
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're all good.
But I was thinking about it. It's like, okay, why does he not, like, is there any reason why you don't think that, Discover.org is a tool for you? And, I don't want to throw out any stats. I didn't want to do that. So I just said, hey, look, we crush it basically. And it's like, if before you told me that you were happy with your current provider, but you didn't, which is a lot different than saying, hey, we're doing so great with it, there's no reason why we would switch. I don't see any reason for us to switch to something like Discover.org, and those are two different things, and that's kind of what I said in the email, like, hey, you said this, but which is a lot different than this. My question to you is, if Steph Curry was a free agent, do you think any teams would pass on him and because they were happy with their current point guard, and back then Steph Curry's like the best player in the NBA, and it's like and he's just like, wow, okay, yeah, you're right, like I didn't say I was like crushing it, so maybe we should take a look. It's just like, and I put, it was kind of funny, I put at the time I didn't realize it, but we have this acronym that we pass around in our group emails where it's WISAM, WISAM, SIM, and it's with your success in mind. So it's kind of like a witty, hey, kind of like a smart ass thing to say, but I put that at the bottom, like my sign off was WISAM, with your success in mind, and it was kind of funny. But yeah, that was like one where I got that on like a Friday night, or I sent that like Friday afternoon, and then he responded Friday night, and I was just like, yes, and he offered me a job. He's like, hey, I could do someone like you, and I'm like, yeah, well, let's take a look at Discover.org first. But yeah.
I mean,
it's just like, if you can, it's like those moments where you kind of channel everything in. I could have just been like this pissed off sales guy who's like, you just need to take it. But no, I was like, hey, look, like, is there any reason why, you didn't say you were killing it? And if there isn't, like, why wouldn't you at least just take a quick look? And so, yeah, that was like my big, it was cool that he responded, and he's like, yeah, I could use someone like you with your tenacity. And I also found out that he uses it in the trainings too. So when he trains SDRs and stuff, so it was really cool.
That's awesome.
That speaks to something I feel so incredibly strong about, is that when I talk to my sellers, the people that I coach, and they say, well, they didn't respond to my email, and they didn't call me back, whatever. Despite what you think, people are listening, and people are paying attention to how you sell. Yeah. You don't just get this one email and go light bulb on, oh, this guy's great. I mean, he was probably playing back the phone calls, the emails, all the stuff that you sent prior to. So it all matters. It may not be that you think people are listening or because they don't respond, but they're taking in how you sell and what you do. And if you keep going at it, and yes, of course, sometimes it's not a right fit, but if you keep going at it and keep delivering value, they're paying attention. So do a great job on all of it.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about what you did, Josh, is you went after someone that you knew that your tool was good for. I mean, I think the worst thing to do is keep going after people that you really don't know for sure. Sometimes it's time to give up and move. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But totally. I love that you were doing that. And the other thing that I'm noticing as we're having this conversation that kind of answers my question earlier is, sports is something that you love, and it's you, it's about you. So if I were the one, now I could talk I can talk a little bit of college football trash, 'cause, I was there, but that's not really my thing. My thing that I think about all the time is ROI. I just think about return on investment all the time. I have 7 clients. If I'm not giving them a good return on their investment, I don't get to keep them. And it's just something that I think about all the time. It's my thing. So it's very natural for me when I get on, a cold email or something to address something around in the world of ROI. And I think that the finesse that you brought, so, please go read the article, but don't copy and paste Josh's template. Use your own natural genius. And I hate to just take up so much space here, but the thing I love about Discover.org that I'm hearing is there are a lot of people that are in bullpens that are being forced to make, I don't know, 150 outreach an hour. No, not like that, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and don't give you space to kind of create that, to engage that natural genius. And I feel for those people. And, there's so many companies that need your genius. So go find another job. Go find another job. But Discover.org, it sounds like they really give you some space to engage your natural genius with the process.
Well, yeah. I mean, just like you said, ROI. I mean, if they give you the space, if there's a return on it, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I did something that was different, and these were the results. And so now they're like, okay, well, let's see how we can help the rest of the team doing so. And so I've been kind of the mentor around that type of outreach. But going back to your point about you can connect with somebody in an email or on the phone on a personal level, but also it's like you're emailing their work email. It's like, make it about something that has to do with moving the needle for them. It's like, or you're just, if you're not, you're just having a conversation with a random guy at the bar. It's like, it's not, it won't, obviously they know you're reaching out, you have like sales or marketing in your title, so they know what you're doing, but you want to still put it in a sense that they can see it. They can see the value. And so I think that's important. So many people these days are so focused on just the one part, the whole robotic part of it. And if you can just throw in a little bit of personalization, like, hey, I took some extra time here to reach out. And I think that people who do it well, and not to like brag about myself or anything, but I feel like I understand our value prop so well that I can kind of manipulate it into, or not manipulate it, but put it into words to where everybody can understand it. I feel like I can, sell Discover.org to my grandma if I wanted to. She's been retired for like 5 years. So, and that's where it happens. Like, if you can really understand the value prop, then that's great. And I think that the emails that I included in there were, kind of the same. They follow the same suit. It's you personalized, and then also something that will help them outside of that part. So it's kind of a two-part to it. So, but yeah, it's awesome.
Do you have a picture of your grandma?
You know what? I actually think I might have something. She has a.
When we edit this, Diana, we need to cut in a shot of his grandma.
Yeah, and then you can share with her and tell her that you made her famous.
All right. I'll have to get one approved. She just got into Facebook like a year ago. So it's just like, she's always sending me these things. So it's awesome.
That's my grandmother. Discover.org to his grandmother. That's like my favorite quote of the whole entire session.
The thing that I love about what you're saying, though, and we talk about value prop a lot, but I want to get really clear on what value proposition is, because people hear it, but what they think is that they know what it is, and they don't know what it is. But you do, and what the difference is that you can articulate in your customer's language what the value prop is.
That's very true. We have clients all the time that we had just at our SKO, we had somebody talk to us, and he was a VP of business development. It's like, hey, what does Discover.org do? Like, if you could sell Discover.org right now, no training, what would you say? And they said it, and it's like, wow, that's like great to know. Like, that's a different perspective of it. So I think today's world, people get caught up in features and benefits, and I could go off on Discover.org's this, and this, but it's like, hey, don't focus on the features and benefits. Focus on something that they need, something that other people need, and what you did to help those other people. And so I think that's one of the biggest points on providing that value.
Yeah. Putting your value proposition through your customer's lens in their own words is huge. So, I like to, we call our customers before we start, or when we start with them. And I like to have my sellers talk to your customers, so that, it's funny, because when I'm talking about how do you package what you do for someone, you start putting in all your own jargon of your own company and stuff like that. But I like to say, how would your customer Google the problem? How would they search for answers to the problem? That's the way you need to be talking about your solution, is in ways that they really, truly Google the problem. Yeah. It makes it more personal and relevant to them, rather than your company, features, benefits list.
Yeah, totally. And don't get too caught up in all the jargon, all the fancy lingo. It's like direct dials, accurate emails. It's like, don't get caught up in like all these really fluffy words because, like I said, no one's gonna like, Google this like big extravagant word. It's like, no. But
yeah, sales enablement. No one's Googling that. I mean,
like what? Yeah.
But the thing that I love about you all is that you really understand how emotionally satisfying it is to use your tool. Like that video that you have of the guys in the elevator that do the daily challenge of how many. That is real.
Those are the best. I wish that like everybody could just go watch that. This is another plug to my grandma, but I feel like if she would just watch that video, she would within 2 minutes know exactly what we do, and it's awesome. But
because you hit it on the emotional level. That is real for salespeople, that their souls are crushed.
Yeah, totally.
When they can't get the information they need, and they're soaring when they can. Anyways, I love Discover.org, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Sponsor us. Hey, no. Okay. What?
Well, so Dianna, did you have any more questions for Josh?
No. Okay. Do we have a back of the envelope question for Josh?
Yes, we do. Actually, I have two. So I like to just take little scraps of paper here and think of questions. And it's funny because I had this question in mind that I was going to ask you, but because you already touched on it, I'm going to ask a follow-up question too. So are you ready for the back of the envelope question?
Yeah.
All right. I think I know what the answer is already, but I'm going to say Steph Curry or LeBron James.
Oh, that's tough. They play two different positions. I'm going to have to go with LeBron James. I have to. I've been a fan of his for a long time, but I will tell you this. I was a big Steph Curry fan when he was in college, and his whole uprising is great, but I just can't. It drives me nuts. All of the Bay Area, just the Bay Area fanboys is what I call the fans of Steph Curry. But yeah, I've always been.
Wait, these are your customers, and this is going to be live in public. Wow.
Yeah, but the thing is, they would take a call just to debate that as a thing.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, I think they're both probably really great guys. They've got a little bit of a beef right now, I think. Yeah. But they're both incredible players and brought so much passion to the game and a lot of really great stuff. I'm also fascinated watching how sponsors pursue them and the moves that they make. Millions and $1 million moves they make. Okay, so because we'd already touched on that, I have a backup question. Okay, you ready? This is really serious.
Alrighty.
Margaritas or cerveza?
Ooh. Margaritas for sure, but not spicy margaritas and no salt on the rim. I can't do the much salt. But yeah, what's funny is I used to love Coronas, but not so much. But yeah, totally margaritas.
Excellent.
What about you? What's yours?
Oh gosh, I not so much margarita. I like a good cerveza. It's gonna be really, really cold. Super cold. And I don't drink beer fast. So usually I only get through a third of my beer before I'm like, next. Can't drink if it's not cold. What about you, Dianna?
Margarita up, top shelf, tequila, and definitely lots of salt on the rim and a lime. And if there's a cute girl to do a body shot, then, I'm married, but cute girls and body shots go a long way. Anyway, how do you like that for an answer?
When in Mexico.
Right, Mexico. That's where I was. Yes. It's Mexico.
Anything goes there.
All right, so Discover.org is going to ban us from ever having anybody on our show again. Anyway, this is super fun, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for the insights. And I think that, if you are an SDR or account executive, if you're a business owner, whoever you are watching this, take away what, even large companies and technology companies are always figuring this out. You're always evolving because your customers are evolving. So take the time to figure out what matters to my customers. How do I show my customers that I care because I care? And that will help them care and getting responses. So good stuff, Josh. Thank you so much. And
so here's how this is going to go. So we will release 2 versions of the show. The first one is called Raw and Uncut, and that will come out a week from Sunday. So not this Sunday, but the following one. And that will just be everything in all its glory. And then the second one that we'll do is, I'm getting a call from a prospect. I just hate that.
Get him, bring him on, bring him on. Put him on.
I know, we should just do it right now, right? Oh my God, that'd be so much fun. But then the edited version will come out, what, in 2019?
Yeah, something like
and
that.
by then you'll be the CEO of Discover.org, and that'll be great. But no, it won't be that long, but we'll let you know when that comes out too.
Okay, definitely, yeah. No, it's funny, we talked about emails. Is there any opportunity to do kind of, one thing that I'm working in is kind of like the personalized or even like personalized intros to calls, rather than just like, hey, how's it going? This is Josh, blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, I was on your LinkedIn, I noticed this, kind of like following the scripts. Is there a way that we can kind of like dissect maybe in another episode, like what it's like to personalize a call?
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to go head to head with that, with you, and see how you do that. I have a whole workshop that we teach on how to quickly create a personal emotional connection in calls. So I can't wait to dig into that with you. That'd be great, because I mean that's where my sellers are, is they're calling, and they're right there doing the same thing.
I just
let's find a Thursday in October, and let's have like 2 or 3 people come on. Maybe we could even do a little debate. That would be super fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, the funniest thing, I connected with you on LinkedIn, and I looked at it. I was like, oh, Colorado, and I was going to entry like, go Ducks. but yeah, I think that something like that.
I beat you to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that it's important if you can do that. It's also connect on an emotional level too on the phone, because I feel like some people these days where it's like the whole cold calling versus email. If your reps aren't calling, it's because they're scared. It's like, or if your reps are focusing on emails, it's because they're too scared to pick up the phone. And so I think if we can kind of do something on both ends, I think that'd be great. And it's one of the reasons why I led off with, hey, if I can't get the person on the phone, this is what I do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the first step is picking up that phone and calling them, because that's what gets everybody money at the end of the day. So
yeah,
I love it. In fact, the video that's released on this Sunday is our whole cold calling, the anatomy of a cold call, which is my favorite thing in the world. So I love this. We could do something really fun with this, Shawn, like some kind of a showdown, have a couple people on who feel like they're really good at it. We can even like send up the bat signal and see who wants to come on and give their ideas. 15 people on the screen.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, but you know what he did? He made an ask, and he went for a close, and just followed it, for the next steps.
Yeah, that is very good.
Next steps, yeah.
Good problem.
Follow up with an email.
You're going to be getting all sorts of job offers after this video. So Discover.org is not going to like me at all.
That's okay.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Wrap it up today.
Yeah, let me know next steps or anything you guys need to do. I noticed like in the interview with Jack, you guys had his links to like social profiles. Do you want me to put those over to you? I just followed you on Twitter, by the way, so Twitter's there. So, but yeah, feel free to if you guys wanted to, in case anybody wants to connect or talk more about it. Feel free to add in my info.
Please send that to us. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll send that picture of my grandma as well.
Okay, good.
I can't wait for that.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah,
I have a picture of me on the floor with the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. Go watch Ninja Turtles in a selling mix. You'll love it.
Okay, I will. All right, take care. Have a good one.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Josh. Bye. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun.
I know, right? Isn't he great?
Yeah. He like really, why are all the SDRs attractive? Or maybe they're just the ones that you find?
I don't know. We are on video after all.
Yes. All right, we need to close this one out
and
then move on to the other business.
Oh my God, let's kick this off. So I will kick us out by saying, stop hoping
and start selling.
That's right. Bye.